Hi, and welcome to session 4 in our personal foundation series. We've been spending our time looking at our inner culture in life. And our first session, we looked at what motivates you, right? And I hope you had a bit of a discussion on your inner motivation. And I'm hoping that you have, as a home group, had a bit of thought and prayer around what your calling in life is. Because our calling, and that's not just a pastoral ministry calling, that is a life calling from our Maker, actually has the potential to deeply shape our inner motivations, because it determines who we are, who we see ourselves as even. Then in our next session, we looked at time, right? And we looked at what goes on internally with us, with our use of time and how we manage time. And I'm hoping that you had a very productive time audit, so you at least have some idea of where you spend time. Today, we're going to look at your thought life, and we're going to look at wisdom and knowledge. I used to think I was a good driver when I was young. I still remember one of my first driving lessons with a paid driving instructor, because I already had some lessons with my dad, who's a great teacher actually. And so I've got this driving instructor, and we get into his car, and we went to Studley Park where there were windy roads. And this guy said to me, "Let's see how good your driving is." And I took it as a challenge. So I went full speed. I went at the speed limit through all the curves and turns, and I was cutting across the middle lane, so that I could go faster and not have to turn as much. And I thought, man, I'm gonna show this driver how skilled I am, this driving instructor, how skilled I am, because my dad has taught me to drive well. And after 2 to 3 minutes of this fast driving around these curves, he said, "Pull over, you failed." I thought I was doing so well, but apparently what he meant was he wanted to see how well I was at driving within the lane and navigating all the safety rules as a learner driver. But I had this mindset, false mindset actually, that I was a good driver. I was a terrible driver. Sometimes we can form these mindsets. I still remember thinking when I was young that I would be an amazing husband. I'm a mature Christian. I had read so much about being a husband, right? And so then when my wife would tell me things that I was doing wrong, or areas where I was hurting her, or areas where were areas of my weakness, I brushed it off, because in my mind, my mindset prevented me from learning and growing. Our inner thought life, our inner mindsets, they can be like paradigms for us. We can take for granted certain things and worldviews that then, when good advice, solutions, good seed comes into those paradigms, we kill it. We just go, you know what? I'm already a good husband, so why do I need to even be better, or whatever it is? We can have false paradigms like, this is what it means to be successful. Success and achievement looks like this. But we don't realize maybe that God measures success by faithfulness and obeying God's will, and in living in alignment with His principles. So then we're chasing all the wrong kind of things, a worldly view of success, let's say, and missing out on what God has for us. It turns out that it's possible for us to have thoughts that are actually lies. I like what John Mark Comer says in his book, Live No Lies. He says that the issue is not that we're telling lies. Sure, telling lies is bad. You know what's worse than telling lies? Living out the lies. That means when the devil has put deceptive ideas into our thoughts, and we're not careful about our thought life, and we live out those lies like, I'm not worthy enough, oh, no one loves me, or whatever the thought is that is in your head that you've allowed that lie to become a reality in you. And so I think we have to spend some time looking at the inner soil of our thought life. If we were to land on one, I think maybe the biggest lie of all today is that we are self-sufficient and that we know better. It's the first lie that we bought into from Adam and Eve, who ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If we live according to that lie, that we're self-sufficient, we don't need God, and we know better, then when good seed comes our way, when God tells us something, when He gives us instruction, we're too proud to even receive it. So, Proverbs 18 verse 15 says, "The heart of discerning requires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out." As Christians, we must be conscious of our thinking. We must look at what are our sources of wisdom and knowledge. We must not waste our mind. We must be disciplined in our thinking and in our mind to actually put it, what Pastor Ron says, the mind of Christ needs to be ours. And this needs commitment and intentionality. So I'm hoping that you would have a good discussion around some of the paradigms, thoughts, lies even, that we might have just taken for granted in the inner soil of our lives. God bless.